Okay, so what we're doing here is we're addressing what are the odds of fifth prize. Fifth prize is selecting three of the six numbers correctly. And it's expressed in this formula here. I just wrote the binomial coefficients for each factor in the equation that needs to be solved in order to get the odds. And so in the numerator, what you have is you're selecting three numbers out of six. So you're selecting you're figuring out how many different ways can three numbers be selected from six. Then you're multiplying that by how many different ways can the three numbers that didn't match up, how many different ways can they be wrong? Or, how many different outcomes are there that three numbers can be selected from the 53 numbers left over, because there's 59 numbers in total in each game, and so six are accounted for, and so there's 53 left over. So how many different ways can you select three from those 53? Now, we've worked problems like this out in previous videos, so figuring out how many different ways three numbers can be selected from six numbers is going to be, the numerator is going to be the top index number factorial. So the numerator is going to be 6 factorial, and the denominator is going to be the lower index factorial, 3 factorial, times 6 minus 3 factorial. And so then it's really 6 factorial divided by 3 factorial times 3 factorial. If you work out the math, then there's 20 different ways that you can pick three numbers out of 6. Now, how many different ways, the three numbers that were wrong, how many different ways can they be wrong? And that is going to be, you're selecting, there's 53 numbers left over because there's 59 numbers in total and you already selected 6. So it's going to be in a binomial coefficient, 53 is the top index, 3 as the bottom index, and so that's going to be written out as 53 factorial divided by 3 factorial multiplied 53 minus 3 factorial, or then simplified down to 53 factorial divided by 3 factorial times 50 factorial. And then you work out the math, and so there's 23,426 different ways that those three numbers could be wrong. Now, so that, if you multiply this with this, that gives us the total number of ways that fifth prize can be won, or fifth prize can be played, regardless of what 6 numbers are selected out of the 59. There's always going to be, regardless of which 6 numbers are selected from the 59, there's always going to be 468,520 different ways to select 3 numbers correctly out of those 6. And this is the denominator here of the formula, which is, you're dividing the number of different ways you can win fifth prize with the total number of possible ways you can play the game, that, or put in a different way, the total number of possible outcomes. And it's written as the binomial coefficient, 59 is the top index, 6 is the bottom index. So you have 59 factorial divided by 6 factorial times 59 minus 6 factorial, or 59 simplified to 59 factorial divided by 6 factorial times 53 factorial. And this matches what we got in previous videos. So there were a little over 45 million different ways that the game can be played in any fashion, however That's the number of different ways, the total number of different ways 6 numbers can be selected from 59 numbers. So what we've calculated that there are 468,520 different ways that fifth prize can be won, which is matching 3 out of the 6 numbers, and divide that by the total number of all the possible ways that the New York State Lottery can be played when you're picking 6 from 59 numbers, and you get this decimal here. Now, what you do in order, you want to calculate what are the percentages of winning. If you want to express the odds of winning as a percentage, you just multiply this number by 100, and what you have is there's a 1.04% chance of winning 5th prize per game. Now, since there's 2 games a ticket, you've got a 2.08% chance of winning 5th prize per $1 ticket. But let's say you wanted to express that, 1 in whatever, you would just take the reciprocal of this number, which is 1 divided by that long number, and you get a 1 in 96.2 chance of winning 5th prize per game, or 1 in 48.1 chance of winning 5th prize per ticket. Now, 6% of the total prize money is allocated to 5th prize. Total prize money was determined to be $4.4 million. So 4.4 million times 0.06 is $264,000, which is what's allocated to 5th prize. Since the odds of winning 5th prize are per ticket is 48.1, and there's 11 million tickets in play, 22 million games total, you would divide 11 million, the number of tickets sold, because they're $1 each, $11 million in sales, divided by the odds of winning, 1 in how many are going to win 5th prize. And so 11 million divided by 48.1 means that roughly, and this is, I rounded some of the numbers here, but you're going to see at the end it doesn't even matter because the amount is fixed anyway. You're going to figure that in this drawing, there's going to be about 228,690 winners of 5th prize. So you then would divide up what's allocated to 5th prize, which is $264,000, divided by the 228,000 and change number of winners, and they each get $1.15. Now, New York State Lottery just sets that number at $1 for 5th prize. That's what you get for 5th prize is $1. So there you go.